One day I had a voicemail from a buyer who was super frustrated. Two big bureaucracies trying to work together. Just through a little bit of common sense, we solved this big issue. Hey, in today's video, I want to talk about customer service being an amazing sales tool. And I want to give you a little bit of a story around it. So many years ago, I was playing basketball in New Zealand and I moved to America, and I'd never had a job before. So I was out looking for sales jobs, and at 32 years old, I landed my first sales job with Coca Cola. One day I had a voicemail from a buyer who was super frustrated. It was with a company called Cisco of San Francisco, big, massive company, big bureaucratic company as well. And I was working for Coke, which is a big bureaucratic company as well. So two big bureaucracies trying to work together sometimes led to major problems. So anyway, the voicemail said that, hey, Neil, Coca Cola has missed its delivery appointment multiple times and I'm now out of Coke. It's making me look bad that I'm a bad buyer. The fact that our customers can't get Coke is super frustrating, and if you don't fix it, we're going to have a major problem, and maybe just kick Coke out of Cisco San Francisco altogether and just go with Pepsi. So what I did was I organized a meeting. I got the guy from Coca-Cola that is in charge of distribution, and I brought him together with the buyer of Cisco San Francisco. And I just said to the guys, look, what can we do to fix this? What we figured out was the buyer was buying 2 trucks of Coca-Cola per week, and he was just randomly buying it. And what happens is that order goes over to Coke distribution, and then Coke has to schedule those trucks in. Because they were calling so late, they would get random appointments, maybe Tuesday at 1 and then Thursday at 10. And then they would miss those appointments. So then the truck had to sit outside and potentially couldn't get into the loading dock because there was 10 or 15 other trucks ahead of it. And so sometimes the Coke truck would go home at the end of the day. They'd get fined for missing the appointment, and they wouldn't even get Coke. So as you can see, this is just a major pain in the butt between 2 big bureaucracies that are not working together properly. And as sophisticated as both of those companies were, you would think they would have it sorted out, but it wasn't. It took a guy like me to come in and sit there and solve that, what seemed like a common sense issue that we could easily solve to me if we brought both parties together. So anyway, what we came up with was this solution. Instead of ordering randomly the 2 trucks of Coke, let's jam 2 truck orders in one day. So what we did was we took the opening dock time at Cisco, which was 7 a.m., and we had the Coke truck sitting at that dock at 7 a.m. to be immediately unloaded. That truck driver then drove back to the Coke facility, parked at the Coke dock, went away and had lunch, and within an hour and a half or so, that truck was reloaded for the same truck driver to drive half an hour down the freeway to be at its next dock time, which was 11 a.m. in the morning. So now the Coke driver was able to hit both dock times, distribute 5,000 cases per that one driver, which on the Coke system makes that driver and the whole system look amazing. On the Cisco side, we didn't run out of Coke. We hit all the dock times. And then when you miss dock times in the trucking industry, you can get fined $200 per missed dock time. So Coke was saving money because it was now hitting those dock times on time. Basically, just through a little bit of common sense, we solved this big issue. What it did for me was it made that buyer look amazing, who in turn really loved working with me because I solved a simple problem. So now going forward, I had an amazing relationship with this Cisco buyer. And every time I got close to the end of the month and I needed an extra couple of truckloads just to help me with my sales and hitting my sales numbers, I could just call up that Cisco guy and say, hey, Bruce, or whatever your name is, I need a favor. Could you jam 2 or 3 more truckloads in prior to the end of the month to help us out? So as you can see, sometimes sales is just not out cold calling and hunting for sales all day. Sometimes sales can just come from common sense, solving customer service issues, which build relationships, which then add to more sales. So anyway, hopefully that was helpful.